Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my playthrough of Commander, the Great War from the Central Powers side. And we're doing something a little bit different this time. I developed some problems. I actually hit a glitch that kept crashing the game. Finally worked my way around it without necessarily losing any turns or anything. But it messed me up so bad that I'm re-recording the audio instead of a live recording. What you're hearing is me talking now after I finished these turns. So as we saw last time, I decided to try Operation Desperation to pull back from the Serbian front, hoping to maybe shake them up, get a few advantages on them, strike a few blows, and unfortunately that really didn't work so well. So we will see how things go on this turn. I'd like to thank those of you that have been watching and responding. And yes, you've noticed some mistakes that I've made. I do make mistakes. I tend to play a little too fast, and I tend to not really want to focus on the game mechanics too much because I do this in my spare time, and so I'm doing it, don't necessarily have a chance to sit down and think about things before I do them, which obviously is not really a good thing when you're trying to play a war game. So that's definitely a minus. Plus, of course, the fact that this game, when you up the AI from easy to the middle setting, is it's a different game, let me tell you. I've been impressed so far with the AI and a little bit depressed, I guess you could say, on my abilities to make this thing work like it did. So the AI's made some attacks. As you can see, the Russians are moving forward very well. So are the Serbians and the Western powers. They've also made, they punched a hole in my front on the Western Front as well. So the Central Powers have a lot of problems. And as you can see here, I'm now beginning to pull back because I just simply can't hold the front that I had, which is too bad because I won that front through a lot of hard fighting. And I thought I had the Russians reeling there when I made that big pocket in Poland and killed so many Russian armies. But the thing with the Russians is you have to keep moving, and I just wasn't able to do that. So I've hurt myself here very badly, and the AI has definitely hurt me as well. So as you'll see here as we go on, I'm having to take some measures that I normally wouldn't want to do, but sometimes, you just have to. What's the old saying? A man's got to do what a man's got to do. That's my really bad John Wayne imitation. Thank you very much. And you can see here I'm trying to pinch off that penetration by the Russians. Problem with that is, of course, I'm getting very low on troops. My Austrian troops are just melting like snow on a summer day. And so the Russians are, at this point, really just kicking my butt, to be frank with you. Down here in the west, you can see I've got that hole in my front, and I'm going to have to do something about that. I've also noticed that I need to upgrade my troops, but I don't have the enough points to do that. So at this point in the game, I'm definitely feeling the strain here, and it probably would have been a lot wiser of me if I had made fewer armies and did a little more investing and saving things so I could upgrade my troops, but I didn't, so we have to live with the results of that. Now down here with the Turks, I do see a little bit of hope here. They've pushed themselves down. The Russians have into a pocket, so perhaps I can outflank them, if pocket a few, or if not pocket a few, at least squeeze them, push them, beat them up, hurt them. And that's my goal on this front. The Turks, of course, aren't exactly the greatest army in the world either, and but they're all I've got. Now down here, things also are not looking good. You can see that I haven't been able to keep my army reinforced like I should have, and so I'm very weak here. And if the British break out of this little front that I've got them sitting in, this basically 3 or 4 hex, depending on how you count it, wide setting, you're in big trouble because now they can spread out, and the Turks are very hard pressed at that point to keep up with them. So we'll see just how I do. You see, I have no reserves essentially, which is bad. The Italian front is poorly manned. Here in the west, I'm also not doing good. So I've actually pulled that guy out and left a hole. Now, I'll tell you the truth. When I didn't actually quite realize I was doing that, I thought he was actually sitting in reserve because I just wasn't paying enough attention again. So that's not good. Now here I make the really tough choice of pulling back. I've got to shorten my line somehow. And so I made the painful decision, and believe me, it was painful, to let go of Brussels. But I thought, well, let's see what happens if I leave my guys in Antwerp. Can they stay holed up there and maybe use that as a springboard for a future offensive and deny it to the Allies? How's that going to work out? Some of you already know what I didn't realize, but I'm not going to spoil it right now. We'll just let the game roll, and we'll see just what the fruit of that particular decision will be. That's the interesting thing about recording this now. I can watch this game roll on, and of course I know what's going to happen. So hindsight always better than foresight. It's also interesting to watch the things going on at Antwerp because I'm reading a biography of Winston Churchill by Carlo d'Este, who's written great military history books on World War II, great biographies of Patton and Eisenhower, and now this one of Churchill, which I didn't know was out. I just picked it up on my Kindle. And, of course, Churchill was involved in Antwerp during World War I as the Germans took it. And so I was kind of thinking about that as I was watching this game play out. So here come the Entente. You can see they're moving up, but not as fast as I thought they would at first. Now they've moved up and cut me off. So I've got that army in Antwerp. It has a general with it, you'll notice, and it's cut off, but it's Port City, right? So that should be okay. Well, we'll find out. Now they're pounding down here on the end of my line again, moving up, starting the process of outflanking me. They clearly have quite a few units here, so they've got an advantage. And, of course, the guys that I just pulled back up north there, they're not entrenched. That's a bad sign as well. So we're just going to have to see how this goes. Now, we got a breakthrough now on the Italian front, which is severely undermanned. Look at that. That German unit's all the way down to 1. So even though it's in the Alps, I have to admit I'm really kind of stunned that I'm not getting more of a defensive bonus in the mountains. But there you go. And, of course, we have an Austrian unit that's cut off. And here we got guys charging up towards Vienna, which is not good. Now, the Russians counterattack, but here they don't have as much of a punch as they do in Europe, perhaps because they're so far away from their cities and rail lines. I'm not sure, but here we go now down in the Middle East, and you can see that the British just kicked the crap out of that guy. So now I've got a major problem. I've got breakthroughs on the Serbian front, on the Western front, on the Italian front, on the Eastern front, and in the Middle East. Wow. This is what you call a really bad day for the Central Powers. Really bad. And you can see they're continuing to expand here, the Serbians are. So I coined it Operation Desperation just because it has a nice ring to it, but I think it was truer than I actually knew. And look, they're pushing down through there, even though I thought I had sort of pinched that off for the most part, but they're charging straight through. They're not taking any prisoners. And now I have an artillery unit and an air unit as part of my front line. That's bad. That's always bad. And really tells you that things are pretty desperate at this point. So That's the situation. Oh, look, bam, and he disappears just like that. Oh, see, that's the problem I'm having is my units just will not stand up to the Russians. It's just like, just like a hot knife through butter, so to speak. And we got another unit cut off, and there's a general in there, at least for a little while. And look at that. They've pounded him all the way down to 4. So clearly, the doo-doo has hit the fan, as the saying goes. And I've got a major problem on my hands here as the Central Powers. And definitely this is a real challenge. Oh, check it out. Lots of technological developments. I've got one unit that's new there for the Austrians. It's too bad. I could use about 10, but I'm not getting them. So, got to pull back again to close that line up. And again, that means he's not entrenched. And I've got to do something. So I'm calling in my Zeppelins. And actually, they survived. I thought they might die. But we've got to hit this guy. Look at that, 0. I got 0 on that counterattack. I thought I'd get a lot more than that. Got to upgrade my boys because I'm getting outmatched, seriously. And I decided to build them up before I strike again. And, oh, look, there's a hole in my line. Oh, that's not good. I think that was the moment I realized it. Yeah, you can leave your comments on how stupid I am. That's fine. Oh, it's a German unit. I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. So at least he's near the hole. So that's better than nothing, I guess. Meanwhile, down here, what do? Well, obviously, we got to get some reinforcements in here. And I decided to let go of Trento and pull back, even though I know that's bad. But what are you going to do? And I'm going to try to move in here and threaten this guy a little bit, see if I can slow him down. This guy gets back to supply. I'm going to see if I can hit that armored car unit, but in low supply, he just doesn't have a chance. So it's crunch time here on the Serbian front. Exactly, what am I going to do? And sure enough, I got to pull him out. I can't leave him that exposed. They just chew him up. So he pulled out. I don't have much counterattack ability. I went ahead and hit him with the artillery just to see if I could slow him down. And, he's a little beat up, but not that much. And look at that. Even after 2 hits on him, the Austrian unit couldn't do anything. So here we go, trying to reestablish contact with my cutoff army and cut off one of theirs, thinking maybe that would give them some pause. And this guy's going to pull back to guard Warsaw. Yes, I thought about, and I did cut across there, but still, they pushed me way back, and this is just bad. That's all there is to it. Yeah, you can't really sugarcoat this. This is just not good. Boom, I hit him, beat him down a little bit, so maybe they'll pull him back. And now on the Serbian front, I've got to make some tough choices. And look at this. They are within 1 or 2 hexes of Vienna. Look at that. That's super bad. And it was pretty close to around here where the game crashed, and I had to restart it, play through it twice before I could get it past that point. I have no idea what was going on, if it's the game, if it's me, I don't know, my machine, whatever. But it's the only time, well, no, I'll take that back. It has happened at other times with this game. A couple of times I've had some crashes, but it's pretty rare. It's a pretty solid game. And here I'm pulling back, I hate to let go of these cities, but you just have to do what you have to do. And so I let go of that, but I'm going to hold on to what I can and see if I can slow him down. But this boy's got to go. And so I pull him back. All right, now I'm back in Königsberg. And so parts of East Prussia are now surrendered to the Russians. The artillery unit, I should pull him back. I've got nothing to put there. So he stays. That's called desperation. I may have to rename every operation I pull now Operation Desperation, because at this point things are pretty bad. And we got some reinforcements at least coming in for the Turks, and hopefully we'll make some progress here. Now, see, I was wondering, I figured there had to be somebody there, but I thought if I can pinch it down or even cut it off, the AI'd probably pull back. Didn't quite work, but maybe it'll give them pause. That's what I was thinking. Meanwhile, down here, this is bad. I'm in a bad spot right here. And, it's just, now I got to decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to leave him there? Am I going to move him? Am I going to attack? If I attack, he stays there, which means he's very likely to get cut off. But if I move him, that springs them, and then they can swing around because they have quite a few units, or will very shortly. So this is a tough call. And attacking, my troops are just not on a par with the Brits. They're just not. There's no way. So I finally looked this over and agonized, trying to figure out if I could attack. I finally decided to attack and stay there and hope to maybe, if he comes through, be able to cut him off and kill him. The safer strategy would have been to pull him out, but that opens up a huge problem for me later. So I decided to do that. And here comes the artillery unit down into Vienna, and we just passed the point of the crash, and I cut in another video of me playing the game from that point of the crash. And I also trimmed a little bit here and there, not to play, but just waiting for things to happen, since my laptop tends to be a little slow. And I'm thinking you probably aren't enjoying just sitting here watching the little wheel spin while you wait for the game to start. So here we go. It's a 4. I thought, okay, we're going to get him. But look at this. Even I'm facing a 4, and I can't get real good odds on him. That's bad. And this guy up front, this Russian guy up front, he's pretty tough. So I thought, man, it's going to be hard. So I went ahead and hit him anyway. It's down to 3. But see, I really wanted to push him back, because then that would either trap that front unit or cut him off. But unfortunately, it didn't work. So back to the Middle East again. I'm just trying to figure out what to do here. And I just don't have any real options. I'm just out of options, So it's going to depend quite a bit on what the enemy does. At this point, I'm simply undermanned. So I hit him, trying to slow him down, which is pretty good, a 5. And I think, hey, let's upgrade. So I upgrade a couple of guys. But, of course, that takes points. And when you don't have many, you don't have them. So back to the Serbian front. You'll notice the guy in Kalerjo. I don't know how to pronounce that name of that town. I'm where the German sub is in port. I'm going to leave him there, because I don't think he could escape alive. And if he's going to die, he can die holding a town for another turn or two and deny that to the enemy. Here I am desperately hoping to be able to make some reinforcements, and discovering that that's just not going to happen. So go through my research, which I sometimes forget to do when I get all wound up, and check and see how everything's doing. And notice I missed the focus there. I come back to it in a minute, because I did see it. I just, again, my one of my problems is I get a little too much in a hurry. I'm that way about everything, actually. I like to work fast. So that will explain some of the mistakes that I'm sure you'll see more of in this replay, because I certainly make plenty of them. I'm not doing these because I think I'm such a great player, because I know actually I'm not. I'm just doing this to have some fun, and hope that you'll enjoy them too. I've enjoyed a lot of other people's replays, AARs, here on YouTube, so what the heck? Might as well join in and have a little bit of fun. And I don't know if you noticed, if you're a Matrix game follower, but they've just announced that late in March, they are going to be releasing an add-on to the new Battlefront game, Eastern Front Battlefront game. It's called Kursk. I'm going to get it when it comes out, and you'll probably see an AAR from that on here because I love that game. That game is a lot of fun. Meanwhile, you can see the Entente moving up. Antwerp's cut off, and notice the supply on my army in Antwerp. That's right, he's in low supply. Not good. He's cut off. So, might not have been the most brilliant move. But look, the AI here, when I thought I was totally screwed, pulls back. I was amazed because I was sure they were going to charge up and at least take a shot at Vienna or just park next to it, but they didn't. They pulled back. And I have to say, I was stunned by that. And you can see the British unit showed up down there. So they've got units, but they pulled back. So huge relief on my part. Somebody lost their nerve, and you see there I just lost another unit. The Russians are still striking at me, but you'll notice they're also pulling back, and look how low that one guy is there. He's a 3. He's got a general, but he's a 3. Now, here comes the moment of truth down here on the Mid-Eastern front. Yep, look at that. They killed him. Came out here. My guy is cut off, as I feared, and I've got no reserves. I got no reserves everywhere, pretty much. Okay. Meanwhile, here we are in the Serbian front, and they have cut off my unit there. Now they're going to totally surround him and pound him into guava if they can. Look at that. Killed another one. Man, it's just amazing. And I left that air unit there accidentally and paid the price for that because he's down to 1 now. See what I get for not paying attention. I think, one of the good things about recording this way is it's making me think I've really got to pay more attention to my game when I play it. So there you go. And I'm going to post this game hopefully this weekend, and then I'm going to be out of the country actually for 2 weeks, folks. So when I'm back in country, I'll pick up the AAR as quickly as I can once I get caught up on things, so that you can continue to see me get my butt kicked by the computer. Somebody out there has got to be enjoying this, I'm sure, and I hope you are, because I'm certainly not. So the Russians now are thinking about things, what to do. You can see down here, they are in really good shape. And bam, I just had another general wounded. And here they come. I've still got a unit. Look at that, sticking out there. It's rough. And my artillery, bam, gets really hurt. And my other units actually hold for a little while. So the problem is now, as hard pressed as I am, can I hold Königsberg? Will I have to pull back, maybe leave a unit there to hold that city? Because that's a very important town for the Germans, certainly. And here we go. They're upgrading, they're reinforcing. And I'm wondering where Lenin is and why isn't he helping me? And here comes supplies, and we're just about done. So, hey, that's going to be it for this playthrough. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back as soon as I can for more. So, until then, this is Louis saying thanks again for watching, everybody, and I'll see you later.